Now I want to talk about Boston, though, because we have a young player making his way, a prince of the NBA, Jayson Tatum. What did you see from him this series, and what needs to happen in Boston for them to take that next step?
Yeah, it's funny you talk about finishing. We were talking about this with John Canales and a couple of guys, where that's one of the things you want to see him get a little bit better at with Tatum. He was and this is an interesting theory from John, like, he was a skinny kid going into AAU. He was kind of a skinny kid at Duke, and he wanted to finish in a sort of like Kyrie, sort of like Steph, sort of like Derrick Rose when he was younger, where they absorb the contact and they use their body and their leverage to kind of create angles, except Tatum's grown into his body. And you kind of now want him taking off 2 feet and powering through guys. He's a big, strong man now. Like at 24, you want to see him play with a little more force. And hey, he'll get some buckets, he'll draw some fouls, but you kind of want to see him do that. But that's a little thing. I think he's the guy. Look, there's a little bit of Kobe in him. Kobe was his idol. I remember he was wearing the 24 armband last series, where when things get tough, he wants to do more himself. And the hard lesson for Kobe, the hard lesson for Michael Jordan back in the day, is trusting those teammates and raising them up, right? When it gets harder on me, when I've drawn three, I have got to, his playmaking has gotten better. It's got to get even a little better. He's got to be able to make the right read, find the right guy in the corner or wherever. And then he's got to get a little more help. Like we said, Al Horford had a good game, but he wasn't as consistent. Marcus Smart isn't necessarily a natural shooter. They're going to have to get some guys who can knock down or be secondary shot creators along with Brown. Because that seems to be where the NBA is going, doesn't it? That it's not one shot creator or even two. Everybody can do a little bit of everything, but you need the shooting to space the floor. I think for Boston, depth in shooting so that they can reduce those minutes and then just, look, there's 29 other teams looking for shooting, but Boston needs it right now because they've got almost everything else.
No, yeah, I think right now you look at that roster, it's very, very, very compelling, and it has been compelling, quite frankly, for quite some time. You and I always talk about, I'm like, why isn't this team better? You know, and it's funny because they've been to like a lot of Eastern Conference Finals, so I don't know my expectations. I guess it's NBA Finals, and even in the NBA Finals, you and I thought this was going to go 7 series, thought it was going to be like a heavyweight boxing match, and then it kind of just shifted after Game 4, and then kind of never looked back. And I still can't help but feel disappointed with this Celtics team. And I don't know why that is, Kurt. I feel very guilty that I have these sky-high expectations for the Celtics team. I don't know. It's been like this for years. I just can't put my finger on. You get what I'm saying? It's kind of like I feel like I'm disappointed in their performance in the finals. And I don't – it's like the only acceptable outcome for them is a championship in my mind. And I don't know why that is, given all the things we just talked about. I just can't shake it, Kurt. It's really troubling to me.
They have a lot of physical gifts. Look, they were the bigger, the stronger, the more athletic team in this series. They weren't able to use those tools the way they need to. And I think that a few things help. I talked about them getting more shooting and more depth. You know what also would help? Robert Williams being healthy. Like, Robert Williams changed that game when he was on the floor, but he was fighting through it. And he needs some time off to get that knee right, and knock on wood, it comes all the way back. And he's back to being himself because he was an all-defensive level player and absolutely changed this series every time he was on the floor. He was the guy who made this – didn't just make the Warriors players think about driving the lane, made them think, uh-oh, he's closing on me when I'm shooting this three. I better get it off a little bit quicker. And that's what throws off your rhythm. He just is a defensive force out there, and him being healthy alone starts to make this team better.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan Poole saw that firsthand when he blocked Jordan Poole's three. I mean, that's crazy. But yeah, I mean, that's crazy to be one-on-one with a smaller guard who is like a water bug, and to think that he anticipated the step back three, got the early jump on it, blocked it, and I thought this is a matchup in heaven for anyone in the NBA Finals. I got Robert Williams one-on-one, in space. Like, of course. And that's what you're right. I think what he has done this season as far as like individual transformation, for me, most improved player, he's got to be up there. He's not the most improved player in the NBA, but what he has done from start of the season to finish, I mean, he made himself a lot of money, a lot of money.
He absolutely did.
It's interesting when you think about this Celtics team too, in the sense of like Jaylen Brown. It's like Jayson Tatum struggled offensively. You know, there was one time the graphic came up, 11 points first half, 0 in the second half, and that's problematic when you're the go-to guy in the NBA Finals and an elimination game. But Jaylen Brown went off. You know, I think he finished with 34 points, Kurt. And so it's kind of like this balance of what is the ideal balance of the star power in Boston moving forward.
They have to be a little better at understanding who's hot and who's not, right? And deferring to that guy. And that's something Steph does really well with Clay.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.